Okay, guys, so there's a really troubling report that we've heard today, and it's going crazy all over social media about the United States attack on Iran and whether or not we bombed a school and if a bunch of children lost their lives. So I did a little research on this and I've dug up what we can confirm as fact and what we don't know. So we're going to dig into that and check it out, and then we're going to stay on top of this, and I'm going to keep you updated. But I thought, well, let's see if we can find out what the facts are and what we can confirm. So I'm going to jump over here to this article, and here it is. This is on the Al-Jazeera website, and this is the article that I chose because it's got the picture that everybody is sharing on Facebook and Instagram. So the headline says, of course, something different than what we're seeing from all the people posting on Facebook, because on Facebook, you've got the Trump deranged people that are saying that it was the United States that hit the school. But Al Jazeera headlines state Israel strikes 2 schools in Iran and killing more than 100 people. So we're going to go through this and see if we can separate fact from fiction. So the state media says Israeli attack on girls' school in the city of Manab in the south of the country kills dozens. And so there's a picture of the damage to the school and all the people that are looking around. And I'll leave the link. You can read this. And in this particular story, they're claiming that 108 people lost their lives. So while we're checking out this little picture here, I'm going to just share with you what I've dug up as we separate fact from fiction. And there's multiple independent outlets that agree on a handful of things. So we'll talk about the things that we know that are confirmed as fact. Number one, it was a girls' elementary school in Manab, and that's in the Hormozgan province, okay? That's in southern Iran. We know that for fact. All right. So we've got Yahoo News, Al Jazeera, and a couple others that are reporting that. Number two, we do know that the school is in fact near an Iranian military installation. It's actually an Iranian naval installation, okay? So the Hormozgan province is home to several Iranian naval bases, and the school was reported to be near an IRGC base. We talked about the IRGC in the last video. So that detail appears in multiple reports, also including BBC Persian, okay? So number three, we can confirm that, yeah, dozens of children lost their lives. So the exact number is varying depending on the source that you're reading, but all of them agree that the casualties were severe. Okay, so one report says 24 schoolgirls, another one says 108. Al Jazeera says over 100. And so the variation is probably due to the fact that we've got different local officials given different numbers. We've got early casualty counts, and they're being revised upwards as time goes on. And then we've got state media versus independent reporting, the discrepancies. But the mass casualty event itself is confirmed. Now, let's move on to what is not confirmed. All right. And that would be specifically who fired the missile. Okay. So this is where we got people losing their minds on social media, ready to jump on the Trump derangement bandwagon and attribute this to the U.S. Navy firing a missile off of a ship. Okay. So the Iranian officials claim that the school was hit by the United States and Israeli airstrikes. So they're not saying that it was specifically the U.S. It was just the U.S. and Israeli airstrike as a whole during the whole attack, the broader attack on Iran, okay? And that is reported by ABC News and BBC Persian and Yahoo. Okay, the other thing that we don't know is the U.S. and the Israeli position, because there's no confirmation from the United States or from Israel that they struck the school. We haven't gotten that yet. We're going to have to wait on that. Okay, so right now, the United States has stated it is looking into the reports, and it emphasized that it does not target civilians. Now, common sense would tell you that the United States would not purposefully target a school. That's just common sense, guys. And you can't tell me that the U.S. Navy would have done something like that on purpose. Okay, now it could have been a mistake. It could be a malfunction. I don't know, but we don't even know if the missile came from the United States Navy. All right. Now we got other unverified alternatives that are floating around there that are reported by various outlets, not major outlets. So some are suggesting that the missile may have even come from within Iran. Now, why would they bomb themselves? Well, it could be due to a misfire because you know they fired over 40 missiles at Israel. Okay, it could be the air defense artillery, the air defense missiles that intercept the incoming missiles. Well, one of those could have failed, and it could have come back down and fell on Iranian ground, okay? And plus, we know that the school is right there near a military target. And so if they were sending missiles after that naval installation, and then Iran sends up their anti-missile, their interception missiles, since it's so close, it could be that one of those missiles that they fired malfunctioned and came down and hit the school. Now, we don't know. If that did happen, I would tell you what, I don't trust the Iranian officials to report that as how it really happened. If they did it themselves, purposefully or by mistake, and I would say it would be a mistake, I'm going to tell you what, I would almost immediately believe that they're going to automatically blame it on the United States or Israel to get the sympathy of the world community, okay? But again, it's not confirmed. There's no major news organization that is confirming that, but we also see a lot of people that are posting that on social media, but it's not confirmed. Okay, so what is strongly suggested by the evidence that we have collected thus far? Well, while the origin of the missile is not confirmed, there are two important contextual facts that we have to consider. Number one, the school is located right next to a dadgum military target. That's confirmed. Okay, I don't know why that they would put a school next to military installation, knowing that they have been raising hell all throughout the world and sending the missiles in to attack Israel on multiple occasions just in the last few years. And you got to probably realize that at some point there's a danger of that school being hit by a counterstrike from Israel, okay? So the school was near the IRGC, or naval installation, and that is a target of the U.S. and Israeli airstrike. So that increases the likelihood that the school was hit as collateral damage. It could be, because that strike could have been intended for the military site. Now, number two, Iran has an incentive to attribute the strike to the United States or Israel, of course. Okay. They want sympathy. They're going to want sympathy. And it might be the reason why we see the casualty numbers not being reported accurately. Okay. It's going to be higher if we're going to blame the U.S. and Israel on behalf of Iran. It's going to be lower once we have an official report from the U.S. or Israel. That just kind of goes without saying, okay? But they would have an incentive. Iran would have an incentive to blame it on the United States and Israel no matter what. Okay, so the bottom line is, what is known and what is not known? Let's summarize. Known, it was a girls' school in Manab. It was hit. Known, dozens to over 100 children lost their lives. Known, the school was located near an IRGC or a naval military installation in Iran. Known, the strike occurred during the U.S.-Israeli attacks on Iran. Let's summarize what is not known. What is not known is whether the missile was fired by the United States, Israel, or Iranian missile defenses. We also don't know whether the school was intentionally targeted, and thus far there's no evidence to support that. So for all of the people that are going bananas on Facebook and some of the comments, it's just kind of like, guys, are you serious? Where they're trying to say the Trump administration intentionally targeted a school and children. I mean, come on. I don't know. I don't know. I guess when you hate Donald Trump with every ounce of your being, with every cell within your body, that's a great story that you would latch onto and immediately push out there on social media because it supports your hatred of this man. And I tell you what, in my entire life, I've never seen anything like this, the hatred that we have towards the current U.S. president. It's amazing. I can't wait until 2028, until Trump is out of office and the next person is up, which I'm thinking is going to be J.D. Vance. I don't know what people with Trump derangement syndrome are going to do. What are they going to do when they don't have that to focus on? Now, tomorrow I'm going to do a video because I'm seeing another stark contrast that is really shocking. And I'm going to lay some videos side by side and let you watch them just to show you how out of sorts we are in the United States, how ridiculous that this whole political crap, this back and forth, has gotten. And this is shocking, guys. You're not going to believe it. So stay tuned for that. Post your comments about this, and let's just keep this factual, keep it within reason, and wait for the facts, wait for the updates. And I seriously do not think that we're going to find out that it was done intentionally. We might find out that the missile came from Israel. I think it's less likely that it came from the United States. And I also think that somewhere in the middle, it's possible that it was a missile defense, anti-artillery, an interception missile that came from Iran itself. But we're going to have to wait. That's all we can do is wait until we have the facts. Post your comments. Let me know what you think. That's all for this one. We'll see you tomorrow.